Away.
And welcome back. Well, there are a lot of good sports stories out there. We're just chatting away, but our next guest says it takes 3 things to make a good sports book.
Carol Barrowman is our resident book guru. She reviews books for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. She teaches English at Alverno, and she's been swimming laps her entire life. In fact, we call her Flipper. Right? Is that okay? We can call you Flipper?
Perfectly good.
So what 3 things does a good sports book, what components are in there?
Well, I think the first thing is you have to learn a little bit about the sport that you're reading about. I think that's good. The second thing is I think that you want to learn a little bit about the athletes. What makes them want to be in that sport? What's different, say, from a person in swimming versus a person who's in track or field or running or something like that. But then the third thing is you should be able to learn something about something more than just sports. And you get to the end of the book and you realize that you've really learned something maybe about passion or competition or something about life. So the book in the end sort of transcends the sport.
Okay.
And I think that's the 3 things that you want to look for. At least I did when I was trying to skim and see what would be good.
So you've got some good suggestions. The first one Flipper recommends is Swimming Studios by Leanne Shapton.
I wish I could make a dolphin noise. There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Swimming Studies. I don't know what I said, but by Leanne Shapton. So is this something that you have to love swimming?
No, actually, this is a very charming memoir, and the author competed in Canada in swimming and almost made the Olympics, didn't quite. So she's got a really interesting take on competition because in the end she really didn't get on the Olympic team, but she feels that swimming has defined her life. Lots of great stories, and she probably, as a person who's been in pools a lot, she describes water and the feeling of being immersed in water and the sort of peacefulness of that in amazing ways. She's an artist herself, so she's got a very nice vocabulary of language for feelings and emotions. I highly recommend it if you got a swimmer in your life.
Okay, even for men?
Oh, absolutely. I think, and also I think young people, I picked all these books would work across ages. I think if you've got a young person who's interested in competition of any kind, this would be a really good book.
Okay. It's funny because I always think of women who throw like girls, you know, throw like a girl, but the next book is called Run Like a Girl, How Strong Women Make Happy Lives. Why do you like this one?
I like this book because it's one of those books that you can sit out and you can dip into. It's full of little stories, vignettes about women who have been successful in some kind of sports, and it's translated into their lives. Women who have overcome, you know, really great obstacles, maybe some abuse or other things, and how what they learned in sports translated and make them stronger. And the premise of this book is that if you participate in sports, you can be happier as a woman. Not just,
I believe that.
Yeah, and not just from, you know, the endorphins and all the good feeling that you get, but the idea that the competition, the challenge, the overcoming obstacles builds happiness in your life outside of sports. It's a fabulous book. Really kind of my idea of a good self-help book.
Okay, I like it. The next one is The Kid, The Immortal Life of Ted Williams.
This is a more traditional biography of sports, and it's about baseball, obviously. Two of my favorite men in my life, my father-in-law and my husband, read this for Christmas. It comes very highly recommended by them. It's a really solid biography, lots of good stories, and it meets all my criteria. When you get done, you realize what it takes to have a life in sports, because of course Ted Williams was a huge, a very successful baseball player and hitter.
What about Tacky in the Winter Games?
This has got to be my favorite. This is a children's book, but my kids loved when they were younger. So this pair of authors have been around forever. This is Tacky, who's a penguin, who's a little clumsy, not the best athlete, and he gets involved in the Winter Games in the Arctic or wherever he is, whatever his team is, and he kind of screws it up, but in the end it's all about friendship and team spirit, and it's a wonderful book.
Cute.
And I recommend it to everybody.
Oh, I gotta get that. Get penguin stuff for my nieces and nephews.
She'll love it, love it, love it.
Love that. Okay, well here's where you can follow more about Flipper. It's at carolbarrowman.com.
Make the noise
Facebook, Twitter, and Goodreads as well. Thanks, Carol.
Love it. Thank you, Carol.